Great Northwoods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, Bangor police say the FBI is now helping investigate a possible human trafficking operation. We'll have more on that ahead. Plus, the Maine State Police are looking into a deadly shooting that occurred in Carrabassett Valley on Sunday. And the town of Stonington is once again the top lobster port in the state of Maine. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop. Craig Colson is off for the day. We'll have those stories and much more coming up. And as always, we thank you for joining us. For the weather today, it is certainly going to feel like spring. Sunny skies and temperatures reaching the 60s. Let's start off this morning by getting a first check of our forecast. Devin Biggs joins us now.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. On this Tuesday, we have a winter storm watch still up for the northern parts of the state, and that will last until 11 a.m. Thursday. We'll see an upgrade as we do move forward, watching for some snow accumulations. The big concern will be ice, as we're watching for at least 1/4 of an inch of ice and some sleet accumulations as well. We also have a small craft advisory that will expire later on this morning along the coast. Meanwhile, we have some clouds that have been developing. We'll keep an eye on that as we do move forward. As we do zoom things out, we do have a little bit of energy off toward the west, but for now we'll just have some clouds passing through, and we'll also have some sunshine coming out throughout the daytime period too. In fact, we'll have a lot of sunshine today. Clouds will start to approach overnight. Notice some energy starting to move in as we head towards Wednesday morning, and that's your ice right there. Snow to the north, but a good amount of ice starting to show up as we head towards your Wednesday. Some warmer air will push in as we head towards later for your Wednesday. But moving forward, again, the wind not a big deal for now. We'll get some gusts here or there at around 20 to 25 miles per hour, primarily as we head towards Tuesday evening. But moving forward, hourly forecast, lots of sunshine, temperatures in the 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. We'll see you a little later on. Well, first this morning, Bangor police have confirmed the FBI is now involved in investigating reports of human trafficking. According to law enforcement, the group is allegedly targeting unhoused individuals. As our Alex Schley tells us, despite a quick response from community leaders, at least one person is still unaccounted for.
Bangor police say the FBI is now assisting in an investigation into an alleged human trafficking operation targeting members of the local homeless community.
We've received a couple different complaints about out-of-state company that is making contact with individuals in the community, and they are offering them services out of state.
The incident was first reported by Mel Combs, who says the men showed up at the well a couple weeks ago.
He immediately went right over to one of the young girls. She's maybe 20s.
Combs says the group told people they could put them up in a hotel, get them an ID, and then fly them to another state where they would enter treatment. But Combs says what they were offering immediately raised red flags.
I've seen the process that people have to go through to get into any sort of treatment, and it's not just, hey, let's go with me, you know. It doesn't work that way, you know. You have to make sure they've got, number one, insurance or some way to pay, you know, and nothing's free. And once I started asking the guy questions, he got kind of sheepish.
Combs says shortly after he began questioning the man, he left, but not before convincing the young woman he initially approached to go with him.
I asked her, I said, are you really going to go with him? She goes, yeah. Personally, myself, I was a wreck for a week, thinking of what possibly could be happening to this young girl. You know, she left here in a vehicle with 3 guys with New Hampshire plates. It just smells real bad.
Combs says despite immediately reporting the incident to Bangor police, he has not seen her since. Police are now asking the public to report any suspicious behavior.
If there's anything that anybody feels uncomfortable with, or they notice something that they feel like would be a concern, certainly reach out to us.
In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Meanwhile, Maine State Police are investigating a shooting death that occurred Sunday in Carrabassett Valley. Maine State Police say on Sunday at around 7:30 p.m., the Franklin County Regional Communications Center received a 911 call reporting the shooting of 23-year-old Michaela Rose DeSantis of Connecticut. She was transported first to Maine Health Franklin Hospital in Farmington, then to Maine Medical Center in Portland, where she died from her injuries. Maine State Police say Michaela sustained her injuries at a residence on Left Bank in Carrabassett Valley. And then on Monday night, 24-year-old Austin Doucette of Carrabassett Valley was arrested and charged with DeSantis' murder. The investigation was conducted by the Maine State Police Major Crimes Unit and was assisted by the Carrabassett Valley Police Department and the Franklin County Sheriff's Office. That investigation is still ongoing this morning. In other news, a Plymouth man was arrested following a child well-being investigation. The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office says on March 8th they received a call concerning information regarding possible child abuse at a residence in Plymouth. The Sheriff's Office said during the course of their investigation, they identified 30-year-old Ladarius Williams, originally from Florida, as one of the people allegedly involved. They also say that he was believed to be potentially in possession of firearms. Investigators discovered Williams also had a domestic violence assault conviction in Florida, making it illegal for him to possess firearms both federally and in the state of Maine. During that home search, the Sheriff's Office says a firearm and ammunition were found. Williams was arrested, taken to jail, and charged with possession of a firearm by a prohibited person. The Sheriff's Office says DHHS also examined the child on scene. It was determined that the children were safe to remain at the residence for the night. In other news this morning, the Bangor Police Department is working to revise its process for reporting crime, citing a need to address what the department is calling a procedural flaw. They say that the flaw is leading to inaccurate account of certain data. Our Grace Blanchard explains.
It's safe to travel around Bangor. It's safe to visit our shops and restaurants and pubs.
According to Bangor's police chief Mark Hathaway, Bangor does not have a crime issue, but there is an issue with how the department and others report crimes.
We're not going to suggest that other police departments are not reporting data accurately. There's just such a variable in how the data can be reported.
In a recent city council workshop, the chief told councilors the department is changing how it reports certain crimes after a statewide report suggested the city had the highest crime rate in the state.
We're not all reporting the data the same way. Therefore, the newspaper article was accurate. The data is flawed.
Chief Hathaway cited reporting by the Bangor Daily News, which found agencies across Maine are reporting crime statistics differently, which the chief says is causing some cities to look more dangerous than others.
To suggest that our crime data might be higher or more impactful than another community, it's really hard to compare that based on this process.
According to a Maine State Police spokesperson, all local crime data is submitted by law enforcement to the state and forwarded to the FBI. But what is entered varies based on how an incident is interpreted or documented. The police department declined our request for an on-camera interview on this issue, but police said in the workshop that they are working to shift how they review cases to improve accuracy.
We need to look at these categories a little closer to be sure that we're being entirely perfectly accurate based on what the officer is seeing and experiencing when he or she responds to the call.
In Bangor, Grace Blanchard, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
In other news this morning, Stonington is the top lobster port in the state once again. That's according to preliminary 2025 data released by the Maine Department of Marine Resources. They say the catches for the top 10 ports were driven largely by lobster. Stonington came in first with catches valued in $49 million. Vinyl Haven came in second at more than $31 million. Harrington, Beals, Cutler, Deer Isle, Jonesport, and Tennants Harbor were also in the top 10. Overall, the state's commercial landings totaled more than $619 million in 2025. The time now is 8:09. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, students in the Empty Bowls Club at Messalonskee High School are using their artistic skills to help out their community. But first, let's take another look at our forecast. For today, mostly sunny skies with temperatures right near 70. Overnight tonight, mostly cloudy with temperatures dropping down to the low 30s. And for tomorrow, we'll have a bit of a wintry mix, highs around 42. We'll be right back.
disaster moments magical with the Gold Bunny from Lindt.
When lives are on the line, they don't hesitate to run towards danger. Unfortunately, the same gear that protects them from deadly flames can be hazardous to their health. Senator Susan Collins to the rescue. Susan helped introduce legislation that protects firefighters and first responders from cancer-causing forever chemicals in their equipment. Because their job is dangerous enough. Call Senator Collins and thank her for protecting Maine's first responders.
I'm Barry Higgins from Maple Lane Farm. We have our own beef herd here. We run about 800 head, and it's raised right here on the farm. And we go direct to the consumer. No middleman, all natural, good old-fashioned Maine beef. Our quality is unbeatable. We have specials on Facebook every week. We guarantee our product 100%, whether it be beef, pork, or chicken. And we have a small selection of lamb also.
Maple Lane Farm, a candy store for a carnivore.
Whether you're a first-time do-it-yourselfer or your third generation, Rock Auto has all the parts your car will ever need.
All the parts your car will ever need, Rock Auto.
Sunday, the spotlight hits Jerry's World for the biggest race party of the year.
Incredible!
It's the first ever Grand Prix of Arlington.
We are witnessing history.
Planes, T-Pain, and automobiles.
Pure perfection.
Fireworks, cheerleaders, and the greatest drivers in the world.
Let's go!
The Java House Grand Prix of Arlington, Sunday at 12:30 Eastern on Fox. Welcome to the fastest racing on Earth.
Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield members in the region who utilize services at Covenant Health facilities, including St. Joseph's Healthcare, will remain in-network. The two companies recently came to a new contract agreement. The new multi-year contract agreement ensures Anthem members will continue to have in-network access to Covenant Health hospitals and other services. Covenant Health serves communities across central and western Maine, including St. Joseph Hospital and St. Joseph Primary and Specialty Care Practices. It also covers long-term care, rehabilitation, and community-based services affiliated with Covenant Health located all throughout the state. Anyone who has a vehicle knows that gas prices have gone up sharply in the last week here in Maine, more than 51 cents to be exact. According to Gas Buddy's survey of more than 1,200 stations around the state, the average price is now $3.41. That's 52.8 cents a gallon higher than a month ago and 35.2 cents a gallon more than a year ago. The national average price of diesel also went up by almost 86 cents a gallon last week and now stands at $4.59 a gallon. Gas Buddy's head of petroleum analyst Patrick DeHaan says, quote, gasoline prices in many states could climb another 20 to 50 cents a gallon this week, with price cycling markets potentially seeing increases as early as today. Diesel may rise even more sharply, with increases of 35 to 50 cents per gallon possible as global distillate markets react, end quote. Well, students are learning so much more than math and science these days. As Jody Hersey found out, they're also discovering the importance of community and lending a helping hand.
Students in the Empty Bowls Club at Messalonskee High School are using their artistic skills to help out the community.
The Empty Bowls Club is a group of students who make bowls, and we make them for a community dinner that we hold in March. I teach them how to do a slab mold, and then once they know how to do that, they can kind of branch out in different directions. So sometimes they use the mold, sometimes they build them by hand. I have a couple of them that know how to use the pottery wheel.
This is Hunter Stanley's first year in the club.
I've always been a huge ceramics fan. I've always liked doing things like that.
Students make around 250 handmade bowls that are used at the annual Empty Bowls Community Dinner. It's a fundraiser to benefit food pantries in Oakland, Belgrade, Sydney, China, and Winslow.
We usually get around 200 people that come to the dinner. The dinner is donations of soup and desserts.
Those who attend the event also get to take a handmade bowl home with them.
Each Messalonskee High School student is required to complete 40 hours of community service upon graduation. Participating in the Empty Bowls Club is one way to earn those hours.
and I needed like a club where I could just like express myself artistically, and I wanted community service hours, and I wanted to give back to the community in a positive way.
Students using ceramics to feed the soul and those experiencing food insecurity. In Oakland, I'm Jody Hersey for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.
This year's Empty Bowls Community Dinner will take place on March 27th at Messalonskee High School in Oakland from 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. It's $10 per person and $5 for children in kindergarten through 8th grade. Well, the time now is 8:15. After the break, the war in Iran is impacting families at the gas pump nationwide. We'll have that story coming up. Plus, March is Save Your Vision Month. We'll hear from medical experts on what to do to protect your eyes as Good Morning Maine continues.
That is why I don't ride elevators anymore. Okay, what's with you today?
Well, I got away with something I shouldn't have. See that brand new Hyundai Tucson out there?
Yeah?
I only paid...
Jasmine's gonna finish you off. Jasmine!
Enjoy your new car.
Yeah, you too.
Deal so right, it almost feels wrong. The Hyundai Getaway Sales Event.
Lease an all-wheel drive Hyundai Tucson SE for $209 a month or get 0% APR plus 0 payments for 90 days. Hurry in.
When Maine winter bites, nothing matters more than keeping your family warm. The solution is simple, a high-efficiency heat pump installed by Valley Home Services. It's the quiet, reliable warmth you need all season long. At Valley Home, we're your elite Fujitsu dealer, ensuring expert installation that delivers consistent comfort and maximizes your energy savings. And we make it easy to switch to efficiency heating and qualify for those valuable Efficiency Maine rebates. Stay perfectly warm without the high cost. For a warm, worry-free winter, trust the local experts. Valley Home Services. Winter warmth is waiting. Call us today.
You're never gonna believe who called the Cabin Masters.
Who called us?
Joe Bornstein's office. They have a small project for us.
How small?
Pretty small. It is on the lake.
Got $1 million views.
Well then, let's show them we mean business.
Did you know that Joe Bornstein has helped over 25,000 Maine families?
In all 16 counties?
Yep.
They're wicked good lawyers.
Fighting and winning for injured Mainers for over 50 years.
Good job, guys.
Nice. Injured Mainers know to call Joe.
John Brown first opened his own appliance store in Ellsworth in 1976. With his gift of storytelling, a strong work ethic, and a philosophy of putting others first, John and his wife and children saw the business prosper and grow. Today's third and fourth generation of family and their entire team continue to follow the example set by their grandparents and parents. Brown Appliance and Mattress, High Street, Ellsworth, a family tradition of quality, value, and customer service that always puts you first.
Well, it's Save Your Vision Month, a time medical experts say is critical for raising awareness about the importance of caring for your eyes. Dr. Laura Moffat is a clinical assistant professor at the School of Nursing at Purdue University. She cites common causes of vision loss and helpful tips to avoid damage. Fox News' Kevin Uretsky takes a closer look.
When thinking about our health, medical experts say it can be easy to forget to look after our eyes.
Eye health is part of overall health. Many vision problems develop slowly and without pain, so people often don't realize something is wrong until damage has already occurred.
Save Your Vision Month is a national campaign held every March, encouraging people to get eye exams and learn preventative strategies to protect against problems.
Millions of Americans live with some form of visual impairment. Risk increases significantly after age 40 and even more after 60.
Some of the most common causes of vision loss include age-related diseases.
Macular degeneration often causes blurred or distorted central vision, like straight lines appearing wavy. Glaucoma can gradually reduce side vision, often without noticeable symptoms at first. Diabetic eye disease may cause blurry vision or dark spots, and cataracts typically cause cloudy or dim vision.
There's also several other risk factors.
People with diabetes, high blood pressure, a family history of eye disease, or those who smoke are also at higher risk. People with high sun exposure who don't wear UV protective sunglasses are at higher risk for certain eye conditions such as cataracts. We're also seeing increased digital eye strain in younger adults and even children due to screen time.
Doctors stress the importance of early detection to help keep any symptoms from worsening.
In general, adults under 40 should have an eye exam every couple of years. After 40, exams become more important. And after 65, most people should be seen every 1 to 2 years.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
The time now is 8:19. Let's get a full look at our forecast. Meteorologist Devin Biggs is in with the latest.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. There's that winter storm watch right there for the northern parts of the state, and that will last until about 11 a.m. For your Thursday, we'll see an upgrade later on. As we're watching for ice, at least up to 1/4 of an inch, that will be possible across the northern parts of the state. Some sleet and some snow will also be expected. Notice farther down toward the south, a small crab advisory up until later on this morning. Watching out for some active surf. For now at around 3 feet, and further off towards the north and east, also notice still some active surf being observed, and also notice to the east at around 4 to even 5 foot wave heights being observed at this moment in time. We've had some clouds overnight that's been developing, tracking from the west, and going toward the east. We'll lose that later on, and we'll have a good amount of sunshine. We've had some energy off toward the west that is tracking off to the east, and we'll be watching for a mess that will be moving in coming up later on. So without further ado, we'll be under a mostly sunny sky. Temperatures in the 60s today. Later on tonight, notice we'll have a little bit of a snow that will be developing to the north. A little bit of a wintry mix in a few spots too. But then things get interesting as we head towards Wednesday morning. That wintry mix gets going of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. And we'll see a little bit of a transition near Bangor to all rain as some warmer temperatures move in, but I would avoid traveling further north. That's that wintry mix, primarily some ice concerns that we'll need to keep an eye on too, but some breaks at times too, and then primarily rain as some warmer temperatures push in as we head towards your Thursday. So where you'll see the pink in a few sections though, and that's farther off towards the north. That's the highest concerns on where we will see the ice. So these areas will need to be careful at least 1/4 of an inch before we're all finished up. And then some snow that we'll need to watch too, maybe a few inches at least before it backs off. So we need to be careful with that. Before today, upper 60s, mostly sunny, south wind at about 5 miles per hour. Overnight, okay, low 30s, mostly cloudy, north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Higher gusts not out of the question. And then for tomorrow, low 40s, rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, and that east wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Again, some higher gusts not out of the question. Let's check out your extended forecast. Some rain and snow chances Thursday, highs in the mid-50s, and then cooling off throughout the day. But then for your Friday, partly cloudy, highs in the upper 30s, then upper 30s again Saturday with a chance for snow.
Big Tech is building AI to do everything humans can do, only faster, cheaper, and without us. True innovation should help us, not replace us. That's why a movement is growing to protect what's human and support common sense regulation on AI.
It's mowing season. And Bad Boy Mowers has the best lineup in the game. Built to win with more power, advanced engineering, and performance that never quits. Whether you're playing on this field or this field. So this mowing season, raise your game and join the team. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. You probably know one. Your sister. Your buddy. The ones who always show up. They all have that little extra something. And maybe you got it too.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Right now, get over $7,300 total value on this 2026 Chevy Silverado. Plus, Costco Executive members can get a $12.50 members-only incentive.
I'm Jim with Lowry Law. I was contacted by a woman who asked me to help one of her friends who had been hurt by a drunk driver. Not only did he have multiple injuries, he had the added stress of being the victim of a crime. We helped make sure that he didn't have to testify or even go to court. That was important to him, so I made it a priority. We got him a $250,000 settlement. If you've been hurt by a drunk driver, call me. I'm your go-to guy.
Hurt by a drunk driver? Call the twos.
Big Tech is building AI to replace us, threatening our jobs, our families, and our way of life with zero public input or oversight. We should have a say. Tell your elected officials to protect what's human and support common sense regulation on AI.
Now to the war in Iran, conflicting messages about the U.S. timeline and the impact on oil and gas prices. President Trump overnight warned Iran not to interfere with international oil shipments. The president now saying he expects the fighting to end, quote, very soon. But he says the U.S. will strike Iran harder if needed. ABC's Marcus Moore has the latest.
Overnight, Vice President J.D. Vance participated in the dignified transfer for Army Sergeant Benjamin Pennington. The 26-year-old from Kentucky was the 7th U.S. service member killed in the war with Iran. It comes as the U.S. and Israel hit hundreds of new targets across Iran. Dramatic video circulating online shows people racing to escape as missiles hit this military base outside Tehran. U.S. Central Command releasing new video of the strikes on missile launchers. It says the U.S. has now hit more than 5,000 targets and 50 Iranian vessels. But some key targets have been left standing for now.
We've left some of the most important targets for later: electricity production and many other things.
Iran continues to strike around the Persian Gulf. This video shows the United Arab Emirates shooting at Iranian drones. Qatar also intercepting new missile attacks. And now a new potential threat from Iran. U.S. officials say they've intercepted encrypted communications believed to have originated in Iran, which may serve as, quote, an operational trigger for sleeper assets outside the country. Law enforcement expressing concern that sleeper cells deployed in the West could be used for retaliation. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is giving mixed messages on the timeline for the war. During an interview yesterday afternoon, President Trump said, quote, I think the war is very complete, pretty much. But just an hour or so earlier, his Defense Department posted, we have only just begun to fight, no mercy. Later in the day, Trump saying this.
I think you'll see it's going to be a short-term excursion.
But at the same news conference, the president suggested a longer timeline could be on the table.
We will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated.
And as the timeline for this war comes into focus, officials say there are some 50,000 U.S. troops in the region. That's up from 35,000. And the president has not ruled out the possibility of boots on the ground in Iran, as officials here in Qatar call for de-escalation. Marcus Moore, ABC News, Doha.
As the war with Iran continues, Americans are feeling the pinch at the pump nationwide. Gas prices are climbing as oil markets react to the conflict. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio is in Washington with the details.
This morning, the war in Iran impacting families at the gas pump. Gas prices still averaging $3.48 a gallon. That's 50 cents higher than a week ago.
I'm on Social Security. I can't afford this.
The war triggering the biggest disruption to oil supplies in history, with the Strait of Hormuz effectively shut down. And this morning, President Trump says he's considering taking control of the key shipping lane, a route that carries about 20% of the world's oil. It comes as oil prices on Monday surpassed $100 a barrel for the first time since Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, before falling lower later in the day. And experts warn those prices could keep climbing.
And if we keep on pushing above $100 a barrel and get more toward like 110, I think you're going to see that nationwide pump price average get close to $4 a gallon. That's painful for consumers.
And the ripple effect goes far beyond the pump. Analysts warn grocery prices, airfare, and the cost to do business for farmers and small companies could also climb. UPS announcing it has added a weekly fuel surcharge, with other shipping companies now starting to do the same. The president claiming the higher prices will be temporary.
We're putting an end to all of this threat once and for all, and the result will be lower oil prices, oil and gas prices for American families.
Some Democrats also criticizing the president for his handling of the war.
Donald Trump is conducting an illegal war abroad, but it's the American public at the pump which is now going to pay here at home.
And the cost of living remains one of the biggest issues heading into the 2026 midterms. Yet analysts warn as the war continues, the price of everything could be affected. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Other countries around the world are also feeling the effects of the war on Iran. Japan's stock index rose over 3% early on Tuesday as Asia markets actually rebounded after remarks by President Donald Trump that the war against Iran could be, quote, short-lived. Strategists are saying it could have a positive effect on the market there if there is an end in sight. Oil prices briefly shot to the highest level since 2022 yesterday. Investors saw it as a signal that Iran was digging in 10 days into the war, but prices later fell and many markets around the globe are seeing different trends with their stocks. And now to Texas and bipartisan backlash over immigration officials detaining 2 teenagers who happen to be part of a mariachi band. They have now been released. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio also has that report.
This morning, a family of 5 in Texas is reunited after being released from immigration detention amid public backlash over their arrest. Their lawyer says the 3 brothers, ages 12, 14, and 18, along with their Mexican immigrant parents, were in the country legally and were waiting for their asylum case to be settled in court. They spoke to our John Quinones.
But 12 days ago, at their latest court hearings, at that appearance, the entire family was suddenly taken into custody.
The brothers are accomplished mariachi musicians, performing at the U.S. Capitol last year, even touring the White House.
They go from that last summer, less than a year ago, to sitting in a trailer prison.
The boy's father says he's been pressured to volunteer for deportation. The family's scheduled to see a judge later this month.
I don't care what happened before. The only thing that I care right now is that I'm with them. I'm the most happy person ever, and I wouldn't change my family for anything. I will go wherever they go.
Meanwhile, in California, immigration officials are explaining why a 6-year-old who is deaf was deported to Colombia.
How does ruining the life of a 6-year-old deaf child make our community or our country any safer?
The family's lawyer says they had no time to retrieve his hearing aids. ICE says the boy's mother and her sons were deported because they illegally entered the U.S. in 2022, and their mother failed to comply with the judge's removal order. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll learn about a special fundraiser at Bangor High School that is raising money for pancreatic cancer research. Don't go away.
Craving something delicious? Welcome to High Street Market, located at 167 Enfield Road in Lincoln. Breakfast options? Grab a cup of coffee and try one of our sandwiches or burritos. When breakfast is over, we're just getting started. Pizza, subs, burgers, and pastries. Come get lost in Danny's Beer Cave. Order online and save 10% off your first order. High Street Market, where your taste buds go to party.
Nice sleep center, Bob. But what's a Bobopedic?
I could tell you, but I'd rather show you.
Oh, Bob's got a feel for your budget.
They deliver right to your door.
With 30 years of sleep experience, the best warranty, and so much more.
Bob's Bobopedic, from your head down to your feet, it feels like no mattress you felt before.
Wow!
Uh-oh.
Bob's Bobopedic.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
It's a brand new cultural movement that's bringing some old hobbies back full circle, and it's all part of an effort by many to put down their devices. Here's ABC's Danny New.
Real business is done on paper, okay? Write that down.
As depicted in this scene from The Office in 2007, students' reliance on technology has been a long time coming. However, it's of course not always productive. In fact, a new study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association finds that teenagers use their smartphones for about a third of the school day, with 70% of that time being for entertainment and social media.
The art of it is just stitching it.
However, older Gen Zers like Emma MacTaggart here are pivoting to more tactile hobbies.
People really want to get off their screens, doing something with their hands.
Over the past few years, this now 26-year-old has built a business called What's the Stitch?
Back with another kit that we are releasing mid-February.
Where she builds kits for folks to try their hand at needlepoint, even though she says this is often thought of as one of the, quote, grandma hobbies.
I mean, the grandmas were onto something because, these are great hobbies.
I successfully crocheted this giant possum in just 7 days.
And over the summer, I introduced you to Jenna Tatu in California, who has become one of a few Zoomers to make a living creating crochet patterns for people to download and try themselves. But it's not always about making something. Clara Sherman here started a company called SoBam Fun to spread her love of the Chinese game Mahjong to younger generations. For her, she feels making a connection through a screen is just not the same as, say, playing a physical game together.
In Mahjong, you are directly sitting across from that person and having a conversation, like a human moment with them.
And as we've seen online, Gen Zers and millennials have also been turning to pottery, origami, and even blacksmithing. Me personally, I have a little mini pinball machine I love to fiddle with at my desk. In New York for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
Now let's turn things right back over to meteorologist Stephen Biggs.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. On this Tuesday, we have a winter storm watch still up for the northern parts of the state, and that will last until 11 a.m. Thursday. We'll see an upgrade as we do move forward, watching for some snow accumulations. The big concern will be ice, as we're watching for at least 1/4 of an inch of ice and some sleet accumulations as well. We also have a small craft advisory that will expire later on this morning along the coast. Meanwhile, we have some clouds that have been developing. We'll keep an eye on that as we do move forward. As we do zoom things out, we do have a little bit of energy off toward the west, but for now, we'll just have some clouds passing through, and we'll also have some sunshine coming out throughout the daytime period, too. In fact, we'll have a lot of sunshine today. Clouds will start to approach overnight. Notice some energy starting to move in as we head towards Wednesday morning, and that's your ice right there. Snow to the north, but a good amount of ice starting to show up as we head towards your Wednesday. Some warmer air will push in as we head towards later for your Wednesday. But moving forward, again, the wind not a big deal for now. We'll get some gusts here or there at around 20 to 25 miles per hour, primarily as we head towards Tuesday evening. But moving forward, hourly forecast, lots of sunshine, temperatures in the 60s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. Well, women flooded the streets of Mexico's capital demanding change on International Women's Day. Thousands of women chanted, sang, played drums, and displayed signs in Mexico City on Sunday. Protesters called for equality, including issues around reproductive rights, education, and empowerment. Women held up missing persons posters and photos of murdered women demanding justice for abuse. International Women's Day was officially recognized by the United Nations in 1977, and protests are often driven by women's efforts to improve their rights. Well, now for the latest on what's happening in Hollywood, here's ABC's Melissa Dawn.
What? Hi, sister.
Netflix has released the official trailer for Season 3 of XOKitty, which previews a reunion between Kitty and her older sister, Laura Jean. The appearance marks Lana Condor's first return to her role as Laura Jean Song Covey since the 2021 film To All the Boys, Always and Forever. Brooks Nader and Noah Beck have been cast in the new Baywatch reboot. Shooting is set to begin this spring on LA's famed Venice Beach and the historic Fox studio lot in Century City, and will air on the network as part of the 2026-2027 season. Baywatch, which first hit screens in 1989, became the most watched show in the world, airing in over 200 countries, and at its peak reached more than 1 billion viewers every week. Dionne Warwick is coming back with one final album titled Duets. The first single from the album, Ocean in the Desert, features Cynthia Erivo and is set to release on March 20th. And happy birthday to Bad Bunny, who is 32 today. And that's what's happening in Hollywood. Melissa Dawn, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports. Don't go away.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
Chevy trucks are as capable and dependable as the Chevy people who drive them. You probably know one. Your sister. Your buddy. The ones who always show up. They all have that little extra something. And maybe you got it too.
It's Chevy Truck Month. Right now, get over $7,300 total value on this 2026 Chevy Silverado. Plus, Costco Executive members can get a $12.50 members-only incentive.
Are you experiencing foot pain? Comfort Shoes & More has a team of experts trained in Podorthix to help you find relief. They offer tailored fittings, shoe modifications, customized orthotics, and much more for the ordinary or the hard-to-fit foot. Discover the latest in functional and fashionable footwear for men and women from today's top brands: Hoka, Brooks, Keen, Merrell, and Ariat. From running to walking, casual or dress, they have it all. Take the drive to Newport for a sit-and fit to find your perfect fit. You and your feet will be glad you did.
Think you're good at trivia? Arrange these holidays, these historic firsts, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
Congratulations, you have built the perfect line. I'm Deborah Norville, and this is The Perfect Line.
Onion rings before, in between onion rings and pizza.
Definitely after. This is what happy looks like.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
Tonight, Fox's critically acclaimed hit Doc is all new.
I need to be the doctor that I was.
Doc, all new, tonight on Fox.
Welcome back in, folks. It was a massive Monday night in Orono, Maine, as the Maine women's basketball team looked to punch their ticket to the America East Championship game. The 2-seed Black Bears hosted the 3-seed Binghamton in front of a packed Memorial Gymnasium. We pick it up in the second quarter, and it's Talon going to work. She gets the layup to fall to make it a 2-point game. Next, it's Lala Woods who feeds Asta Blauenfeld on the break, and the Bears are rolling early on. Then Olivia Alvarez and Addie Smith using the give and go. Maine's lead is up to 6 in the second quarter, but Binghamton would answer. Bella Pucci is going to nail the three-pointer to cut that lead in half, but we go to the end of the first. Sarah Talon again. This time, it's the sweet Euro step to give Maine a lead at halftime. Beginning of the second was more of the same. Woods feeds Smith with a great pass as she knocks down the mid-range jumper, and then it's Smith's turn to share. She feeds Alvarez, who's going to drain the three-pointer, and Maine survives a late comeback attempt from those Binghamton Bearcats. They win 60-56. They advance the America East Championship game on Friday night at 5 p.m. at Vermont. They'll take on the 1-seed Catamounts for a ticket to punch their ticket to March Madness. Well, just like that, a weekend months in the making has passed as Cooper Flagg made his long-awaited debut at TD Garden on Friday night. Flagg scored 16 points in the Mavericks' 120-100 loss to the Celtics, but that wasn't the story of the night. The story was Maine's hometown hero making his professional debut against their team, the Boston Celtics, as thousands of Mainers flooded TD Garden and the streets of Boston to watch Flagg play his first game in New England since his Duke Blue Devils visited Boston College last winter. And the Mavericks head coach Jason Kidd says he's never heard an away team member cheered for like that, let alone in the city of Boston.
No, it was incredible. I've never heard a role player get a cheer like that, especially here in Boston. They tend to go the other way. But I think that just shows the appreciation they have for Coop and who he is today and who he will be as his journey goes forward. And so I think he appreciated that, and it's nice to hear cheers for a road team in Boston.
Flagg is already an inspiration to kids across the state of Maine. However, getting to see him play finally on the parquet at TD Garden may have even raised it up a notch. Flagg says he appreciates the support and recognizes the opportunity he has to inspire.
That's incredible. I remember being a little kid and looking up to guys and stuff like that. So it's incredible to be able to have that type of impact, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm able to do what I do, and I'm able to stay motivated is for stuff like that, and inspiring the next generation.
The USM women's basketball team has danced their way to the NCAA Sweet 16. The Huskies will battle Wisconsin lacrosse Friday night at New York University in Manhattan. The Huskies punching their ticket to the Big Apple with a wild 67-59 win over Bowdoin on Saturday night. USM's first win over Bowdoin since November of 2012. The Huskies now find themselves 2 wins away from advancing to the Final Four after their massive upset win over an in-state foe.
To be able to practice today and play another game this week, and it's just been a lot of fun. It's been a really special year.
There's like no better feeling. We're just super excited to still be playing basketball. There's no feeling like it.
I mean, it's still like an unreal experience. I didn't think that I would be in this position. If you look at like the longevity of my basketball career, it's a great experience with all of my teammates.
First win over a dominant Bowdoin team since 2012. That is quite impressive. Monday was the first day of NFL free agency. Some massive moves were made, such as Mike Evans signing to the 49ers, Tua Tagovailoa signing to the Atlanta Falcons. But the Patriots are yet to make a big splash. They signed 7-year veteran defensive end Draymond Jones, who recorded 7 sacks last season, along with former Bills fullback Reggie Gillum to a 3-year deal. We'll have more free agent updates for you this week as they develop. For now, that's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Maine's rivers, our lakes, our life-giving wells. To ensure that our water supply remains clean and safe, Senator Susan Collins is leading the fight to protect this vital resource. She delivered millions to upgrade Maine's drinking water and wastewater infrastructure, keeping the quality of water as precious as Maine itself. So raise a glass and thank Senator Susan Collins for her leadership that goes beyond politics.
Imagine yourself in a new Toyota.
Wow. Awesome. Cool.
Sweet. Nice. I like your dress.
You look pretty.
No, you look pretty.
No, you look pretty.
No, you.
Now, from the longest-lasting brand, you could get an affordable $179 a month lease on a fun Corolla gas sedan with a total contract cost of $11,264.
Go from dreaming it to driving it today.
Toyota, let's go places.
In winter, accidents can happen in an instant. From icy sidewalks to winter roads, there are close calls around every corner. And when a close call becomes something more, insurance companies won't always look out for you, but we will. For over 50 years, the law offices of Joe Bornstein have helped injured Mainers. Accidents happen to be our specialty. When it's more than a close call, call Joe.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more.
When every word counts.
Trash panda.
Raccoon.
You hand me a trash panda. That was gangster.
It pays to choose wisely.
Wed, Thurs.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
You just won it! 25 words or less every weekday.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Welcome back, everyone. Today we are joined by Kathy Chevry, and she is kind of upheading this very interesting and special event that is happening very soon in the Bangor area. Kathy, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Of course. So you have an event here called Join the Fight, and this is happening at the Bangor High School Auditorium, correct?
It is, yes.
Can you kind of explain what's going to be going on there and why you're doing this?
Okay. We are having a concert that has 2 barbershop choruses.
Yep.
And there are a couple of quartets as well. And we also have a silent auction with, oh gosh, I think over $1,500 worth of gift cards and gifts.
Very fun.
Yes. And we're doing this. It started out as an event in memory of my sister, who died recently from pancreatic cancer. And I found out early on that one of the members of my chorus had lost not one but two sisters.
Oh, wow.
Recently from this disease. During the time that my sister was ill, I had been on the internet doing research, and I discovered a Dr. Elizabeth Jaffe, who is at Johns Hopkins University. And she is having some wonderful results with immunotherapy, both in prevention and in treatment
Oh, that's wonderful.
for pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
And so I decided I would do a fundraiser, and I wanted the proceeds to go to specifically to her research.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So all the, admissions and the donations that you guys get from that concert and the silent auction that you were talking about, all
That's
those
right.
proceeds are going to go
Yes.
towards research for pancreatic cancer.
Yes.
Well, that is wonderful, Kathy.
Yes, thank you.
And so Bangor, this is the Audit Peaks Auditorium.
Yes, it
and
is.
when is this happening?
This is happening on what would have been my sister's 68th birthday,
Oh, okay.
April 1st.
Very nice.
And instead of being an April 1st joke, it's a really serious
Yeah, right.
subject.
Yes.
But we hope to have a good turnout.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
On a Wednesday night.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be wonderful.
I think it is too. And for people too that maybe won't be able to attend, but still want to donate, you guys do have that option.
Okay.
Would you like to share your phone number so that people can get in
Yes,
touch with you on how to do that?
Certainly. Yeah. It's 207-991-1669.
Perfect.
And they can call me direct, and I'd be happy to help them with that.
Wonderful. And that's a check thing. They can send you
Yes.
checks.
Sure.
Perfect. Well, is there anything else you'd like to share with us today about this event? Are you excited for it?
I am excited.
Yeah.
I've been working on it for months. And as I said, Mr. Finney at the Bangor School Department has been helping me a great deal. He's wonderful. And it's getting close now.
Yes, it is.
And I'm getting very excited.
Good. Well,
Very
Kathy, I'm
excited.
so glad you came in and shared this with us. For anyone who wants more information, this will be posted on our website at foxbangor.com. Thank you so much for coming in, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
We'll turn things over to Devin Biggs for a final check of the forecast.
Alrighty, Janessa, thank you very much. There's that winter storm watch right there for the northern parts of the state, and that will last until about 11 a.m. For your Thursday, we'll see an upgrade later on. As to watching for ice, at least up to 1/4 of an inch, that will be possible across the northern parts of the state. Some sleet and some snow will also be expected. Notice farther down toward the south, a small crab advisory up until later on this morning. Watching out for some active surf. For now at around 3 feet, and further off towards the north and east, also notice still some active surf being observed, and also notice to the east at around 4 to even 5 foot wave heights being observed at this moment in time. We've had some clouds overnight that's been developing, tracking from the west, and going toward the east. We'll lose that later on, and we'll have a good amount of sunshine. We've had some energy off toward the west that is tracking off to the east, and we'll be watching for a mess that will be moving in coming up later on. So without further ado, we'll be under a mostly sunny sky. Temperatures in the 60s today. Later on tonight, notice we'll have a little bit of a snow that will be developing to the north. A little bit of a wintry mix in a few spots too. But then things get interesting as we head towards Wednesday morning. That wintry mix gets going of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. And we'll see a little bit of a transition near Bangor to all rain as some warmer temperatures move in, but I would avoid traveling further north. That's that wintry mix, primarily some ice concerns that we'll need to keep an eye on too, but some breaks at times too, and then primarily rain as some warmer temperatures push in as we head towards your Thursday. So where you'll see the pink in a few sections though, and that's farther off towards the north. That's the highest concerns on where we will see the ice. So these areas will need to be careful drizzle at least 1/4 of an inch before we're all finished up. And then some snow that we'll need to watch too, maybe a few inches at least before it backs off. So we need to be careful with that. Before today, upper 60s, mostly sunny, south wind at about 5 miles per hour. Overnight, okay, low 30s, mostly cloudy, north wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Higher gusts not out of the question. And then for tomorrow, low 40s, rain, freezing rain, sleet and snow, and that east wind at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Again, some higher gusts not out of the question. Let's check out your extended forecast. Some rain and snow chances Thursday, highs in the mid-50s, and then cooling off throughout the day. But then for your Friday, partly cloudy, highs in the upper 30s, then upper 30s again Saturday with a chance for snow.
America's strength is human, but AI is being designed to replace us, threatening our jobs, our families, and our way of life. Tell your elected officials to support common sense regulation. Make sure AI works for us, not instead of us.
Even if your child has moderate to severe eczema, they can feel the flow, feel the breeze. And Dupixent helps them feel the heal. It helps calm a key source of inflammation under the skin that can cause eczema. Dupixent is the only biologic therapy approved to treat kids as young as 6 months for noticeably clearer skin and less itch. Severe allergic reactions, including skin reactions, can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Dupixent. Help heal their skin from within so they can stay ahead of eczema. Find an eczema specialist and ask about Dupixent today.
It's mowing season. And Bad Boy Mowers has the best lineup in the game. Built to win with more power, advanced engineering, and performance that never quits. Whether you're playing on this field or this field. So this mowing season, raise your game and join the team. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
AI is being designed to replace American workers. But in America, work is more than just a paycheck. It's pride and purpose. And when real jobs vanish, families and communities get left behind. We should have a say. Protect what's human.
The Downtown Bangor Partnership is partnering with a local sign company and using some grants to give some storefronts around town a facelift. The Downtown Bangor Partnership, along with Da Vinci Signs, rolled out some facade grants this year that they are calling Glow Up Grants. They are meant to enhance the exteriors of some downtown businesses, and the city has $15,000 in grant money to be dedicated to aesthetic improvements like paint, awnings, signage, planters, seating, and exterior sculptures. All things that will add to a business's curbside appeal.
It is hard sometimes for a small shop owner who is doing literally everything. They're doing the books, they're doing the displays, they're doing the ordering, they're doing all of the things. It's harder for them to find that time and money to be able to address the exterior of their store.
For businesses interested in the grants, you can email your info at downtownbangor.com or visit this story on our website at foxbangor.com for a link and more information for the applications. Well, the Death Valley National Park in California comes to life with a once-in-a-decade super bloom flowers. Thousands of wildflowers emerge through the soil in the national park, transforming the area into a landscape of vibrant yellow, purple, and white. The blossom includes desert gold flowers, globe mallow, and sunflowers. The super bloom happens when the seeds stay dormant for 12 or more years, withstanding even during droughts, and then they suddenly spring to life under the right conditions. Visitors flock to the park on Friday to witness the phenomenon while it lasts. Death Valley employees are grateful for the attention that the super bloom brings to the national park.
It's only once every 10 or 50 years or whatever, so it's great to be able to be here, and it's a rare opportunity.
Experts say the super bloom is a result of consistent rain during the fall and winter. However, they say it likely won't last too long this year. Well, a French woman created and runs a hedgehog rescue in her home near Paris. The Rescue Center founder, Sarah Stahl, has treated more than 1,000 hedgehogs over an 8-year span. Her journey began when she and her husband found 2 baby hedgehogs without a mother in their garden. She then created the rescue at her home because there is only one center for wild animals in the Paris region. Stahl bought several enclosures and a care-providing center. Humans are responsible for more than 90% of the nocturnal animals' deaths, with just 9% of deaths linked to their natural predators, which are owls, bears, and badgers. By the end of 2024, the Western European hedgehog shifted from least concern to near threatened on the International Union for Conservation's Red List. Well, that's all the time that we have left for this morning, but as always, we thank you for joining us. Have a great day, everyone.
Today on 25 Words or Less, he claims doing this show is the low point of his career. Big talk from the guy who played Inventor number 3 in Dumb and Dumber 2. It's John Barinholtz.